Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we unpack those dense corporate filings and find the juicy bits. Today we're diving into a recent update from Akari Therapeutics, and let's just say their financial chief might be changing faster than the seasons. So this is a pretty standard filing called an 8, which basically means something important and immediate happened with the company. And for Akari Therapeutics, that something important seems to be a shake-up in their top financial role. The big news here is that on the 22nd of October 2025, the board of directors decided to make a change. They appointed Camille Farag to step in as the interim chief financial officer. This position is crucial because the CFO is essentially the money manager of the company, overseeing all financial operations and making sure everything adds up. It is a role that requires a lot of trust and expertise, and when there is a change here, it often signals either a planned transition or a reaction to something else going on behind the scenes. Now, who is Mr. Farag? Well, the report tells us he is 47 years old, and he has got quite the resume in the biotech and finance world. He's worked with companies that have grown a lot, which is exactly what you want in someone stepping into a financial leadership role during a potentially busy period for a company. He is also currently a director at BioVie Incorporated, which is traded on a stock exchange called the Nasdaq, and he is part of their audit committee. That means he's involved not just in managing the money, but also in making sure the company's financial reporting is accurate and truthful. Before coming to Akari, Mr. Farag was the chief financial officer, treasurer, and even the head of compliance at Aspen Neuroscience Incorporated. From 2021 to 2025, he was instrumental in growing that company significantly. We're talking about tripling their employees, which is a massive expansion. He also managed to bring in over $150 million in funding. That is a huge amount of money that likely fueled their research, manufacturing, and preparations for future growth, possibly even an initial public offering, which is when a private company first sells its shares to the public. His experience doesn't stop there. Before Aspen, he was a senior vice president of finance at Ionis Pharmaceuticals, another significant player in the biotech space from 2018 to 2021. And perhaps most notably, he spent over 16 years at Amgen Incorporated, a giant in the biopharmaceutical industry. During his time there, he held several important finance and operational positions. For instance, he was the chief financial officer for Amgen's entire intercontinental region from 2013 to 2018. That's a massive geographical scope covering many countries and economies. He also had responsibilities related to financial planning and analysis for international operations. This kind of global financial leadership experience is really valuable, especially for a company like Akari that might be looking to expand its reach. Now, the financial details of his appointment are interesting. He is not just being hired as a regular employee. The company has entered into a consulting agreement with him, and also with a company called KDF Ventures LLC, which seems to be associated with Mr. Farag. This means he is probably not an in-house employee in the traditional sense, but rather engaged for his expertise on a contract basis. Let's break down the compensation through the end of this year, 2025. He'll receive $18,000 in cash every month, plus another $12,000 worth of something called RSUs. RSUs stand for restricted stock units, and they represent a right to receive company stock in the future. The interesting part is that these RS vest, meaning they become fully yours at the end of each month. This is a common way to incentivize someone to stay and perform well, as they are essentially being paid in stock that they can't fully own until they meet the vesting conditions. Then, starting in January of 2026, for a short period until mid-February, his monthly compensation is going up. He'll get $27,000 in cash plus $13,000 in RSE each month. This increase suggests that perhaps the initial agreement was for a shorter term, and they are now extending it and increasing the pay to keep him on board for a bit longer, likely to ensure a smooth transition or to handle specific financial projects. There is also a clause about capital raises. If Akari Therapeutics brings in new money through selling more stock or other financing, KDF Ventures, and by extension Mr. Farag, will be entitled to additional compensation. This will be paid in a mix of cash and RSUs, calculated as a percentage of the money raised. This incentivizes him to help the company secure vital funding, which is crucial for biotech companies constantly needing to finance their research and development. The initial agreement has an end date of the 16th of February 2026. However, the company has the option to extend it on a month-to-month basis. This gives them flexibility. They can keep him longer if needed, but they are not locked into a long-term commitment if they find a permanent successor sooner. The report also clarifies that Mr. Farag was not appointed based on any secret deals or understandings with other people. This is standard disclosure to ensure transparency. And importantly, there are no outstanding payments owed to anyone connected to Mr. Farag under any of the company's compensation plans. This means his compensation is neatly defined within this consulting agreement. Now, briefly looking at the company's registered securities, what it means is that Akari Therapeutics has American Depositary Shares, or ADS, which represent a bundle of their ordinary shares. These ADSs trade under the ticker symbol AKTX on the Nasdaq Stock Market LLC. They also have ordinary shares, but these aren't directly traded actively, with trading only happening in connection with the ADSs. This structure is common for international companies wanting to list on US exchanges. The main reason for this filing, as we discussed, is this leadership change in the finance department. It tells us that the company is actively managing its executive team, which is a sign of a functioning board of directors. And as usual, any major agreement like this consulting contract is filed as an exhibit. So, if you wanted to read the nitty-gritty details of the deal, you could find the full consulting agreement attached to this filing. So, what is the story here? Akari Therapeutics is bringing in an experienced financial executive, Kamil Farag, on an interim basis. This suggests a need for seasoned financial leadership, perhaps to navigate growth, secure funding, or manage a period of transition. The compensation structure with a mix of cash and stock shows a focus on performance and retention. The company is signaling a need for financial stability and expertise, especially given Mr. Farag's history of scaling companies and raising significant capital. For Akari Therapeutics, the key direction seems to be growth and securing financing, which is typical for a company in the biotech sector. The strength lies in Mr. Farag's impressive background and his proven ability to raise substantial funds and manage complex financial operations. A potential weakness or risk is that he is appointed on an interim basis, meaning a permanent solution is still being sought. This could indicate underlying issues or a strategic search for a long-term CFO. The opportunity is clear. Leverage Mr. Farag's expertise to drive financial growth and secure the necessary resources for future development. The risk is that if the company can't secure a permanent, strong financial leader soon, it could impact investor confidence. Overall, this move is a proactive step to ensure strong financial management. The focus on capital raises and the incentive structure for Mr. Farag indicates that funding and growth are top priorities for Akari Therapeutics right now. Alright, that is our breakdown of Akari Therapeutics' latest filing. What is your take on this leadership change and what it might mean for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this deep dive helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more corporate financial insights. And don't forget to join our Discord community, linked in the description, for even more discussions and analysis. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.